Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be. I'm Sarah Jane. I'm the founder and hostess of Gift of Healing TV. And tonight I have three wonderful guests with me, and we've all been having a great deal of laughter before we started. Sat next to me is Richard Ellis. Richard, you know what, I better read this. I know it, but I'm going to forget it. Richard, well, we're all of us, we're all authors and speakers. That's a really good start for all of us. Richard's the author of Reiki and Seven Chakras, The Heart of Reiki, and others. Richard, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's go to Joanne next. Joanne's in Texas in the United States. As you can see, Richard's with me. Right, Joanne is the author of The Forgiveness Habit, and I met Joanne at a Messenger Summit in Yosemite back in 2012. So that's going back a few years.
How time flies. Oh my gosh. Yes.
So hello, Joanne. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's very good to be here with you. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It's wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. And finally we have Patricia. Now, some of you who have all been watching our programs have already met Patricia because she has her own show on Gift of Healing TV, the Patricia Iris Keren Show. And Patricia is also an author of Viva Voce and Love, which are self-help books, as well as another book. What was it? The Mysteries of the Magdalene Key. The secret of, what is it? The magic of the Magdalene Key. Sorry, Patricia. Patricia, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Sarah. It's lovely to be here. I love the fact we're all giggling before we even begin. But it's just so lovely to connect with you all. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
It's a real pleasure. And do you know what, folks? We're going to start with Patricia because the conversation we had at the beginning and what we've just been saying. Patricia, let's take our first tip hint from you, and we are going to take it from there, folks. Folks, for those of you watching live, please, if you've got any questions you want to ask, please ask us, because that's what we're here for. Patricia, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Wow, what a wonderful thing to be asked to contribute to this lovely program, all about wonderful tips, helpful tips for your health and well-being. And for me, I work with 4 bodies: my physical body, mental body, spiritual body, and my emotional body. And I just feel that if we can do something every day for each one of those to really keep them fired up, full of vibrancy, then we're doing okay. I certainly know it works for me. And one of the things that works for me, and Joanne just said it before we came on, laughter. Laughter is without doubt the best medicine. And guess what, folks? It's absolutely cheap. It doesn't cost a penny. I look in the mirror every morning when I've just sort of sloped out of bed, and I have a good laugh because at the moment, I have a tooth missing in a certain place and I'm getting an implant, but I'm at that in-between stage. So I'm not going to tell you where, but there is a space in my teeth. So I give myself a big grin and I fall about the place laughing at myself. And who better to laugh at? Because you know what? Angels take themselves lightly. And you know, there are a lot of us that are angels on this planet. And you know, that's what we're aspiring to being love in action, forgiveness in action, all of that. So how can we laugh more and more? Well, practice laughing in the mirror in the morning, have a good laugh. I sing a lot. I sing in the shower. I sing stupid things. I put everything I can think of, words, to music. Yeah, I put my affirmations to music. And yeah, I get quite hysterical on it. But you know, the wonderful thing is this all has a physiological effect. It releases endorphins, it raises your vibration, and you're guaranteed a good day. So, just to get you all started, how about having a good belly laugh? Join with me now, put your hands on your belly, and just feel that sound. Make it quite a low sound to begin with, sort of ha 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 then the more you do it, the more you're going to want to laugh. So I'm expecting you three to join with me now. All right, a group effort, okay? So breathe in. 1, 2, 3. Ha,
Ha, ha, ha, ha, ha.
You see, so if you all start doing that when you're instead of gossiping, having a cup of tea, then you're going to release all these endorphins and have a wonderful day. That's my starter for 10. Over to you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. So hopefully, folks, I know we've got a couple of people who have joined us. You are joining in with that, and you'll think about that on a daily basis. Joanne, let's come to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I too, you know, as she said, I think laughter is what is very, very, very powerful. But something else I have learned that's very powerful is gratitude. Expressing gratitude can turn an ordinary day into a great day. I mean, it'll lift your, if you just the very act of stopping and writing a few things down that you're grateful for, or saying them out loud. I'm grateful for, and name some things. Say it out loud. Just that very act will lift your spirits if you're feeling down, even if you're feeling awful. The more you express gratitude, it'll lift you up more, and it'll get you feeling good. It will always lift your spirits if you're feeling down. What gratitude does is just what what's her? Oh, I'm sorry, I went blank on the name. The person before me. Well, pardon?
Patricia.
I was talking and didn't hear it. Never mind. Gratitude also releases endorphins, okay, and helps clear our body of emotional toxins. I mean, we want to get all the toxins out of our bodies, and so often we think just about the physical toxins, but we all walk around with emotional toxins in our body, and we don't realize it so much of the time. And gratitude, expressing gratitude, will absolutely clear many of the toxins, emotional toxins, out of our body. And if you really want to do something powerful with gratitude, make your gratitude list. Say thank you. Go through it and say thank you for everything and everyone. Send everyone a blessing, and then choose someone and call that person and say, don't have a conversation to start with, just say, I'm calling you because I want you to know how grateful I am that you're in my life. You just make such a difference for me. Thank you for who you are, and thank you for being in my life. And I mean, the person just won't even, will just be blown away. Just be blown away. Imagine if someone called you and said that to you. You know, it would just be great. So do that with someone. Do that once a day. Do that with someone. It'll be so great. It'll make you feel good. It'll make them feel good. And then you'll spread that energy to all those around you. And that's it for now. Okay?
Brilliant. And absolutely. Oh, I've got feedback here. If you can say that, have that gratitude with a smile, that's even better. And we've got Sherry with us, who's very much saying, I love it because you were talking about the laughter. That came up for that. And then I agree with you, Joanne. Yes, it does. And it's very important. So brilliant. Thank you for that. Richard, I don't have to move the camera because it's all yours.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah Jane. Well, as you said, you know, we had a lot of laughter on air before we came, and that was obviously one of the key things for all of us is just to be happy and find laughter in our lives and strike a balance between work and play. And I also really agree with gratitude. It's one of the third principles of the Reiki precepts. And as we know, you know, if you can list 10 things, as you said, 10 things that you're grateful for each day, it can completely change your approach to, you know, where you presently are in your state of mind on any given moment. Quite often what we tend to do is we start sort of telling ourselves stories about, you know, what isn't in our lives and the dissatisfaction with the present moment and with the reality that is there. And the best way to change that is just to list 10 things that we're really happy about and grateful for in our lives. I work a lot with people that are terminally ill, and I know, from their point of view, they would exchange a huge amount of wealth and for just for a wellness and a healthy a body in any given moment. So quite often the things that we are concerned about in our lives, going forwards, is like the lack of money and financial wealth and status. But in reality, the things that really matter to us in any given moment is our body's wellness. So I wanted to talk a little bit about on mindfulness, because I work with Qigong, particularly, which is a form of mindful movement. And for me, I think staying present to what currently is in your life and choosing whether it serves you is probably one of the best things that you can do, because your body has the wisdom and understanding to know what's right and what's wrong for you. And if you can choose to be mindful in the present moment to what your body's presently doing and experiencing, then you can actually choose whether it serves you or not going forwards. So, that would be my top tip to start off with, being mindful to what presently is in your life and making a judgment as to whether it is actually serving you or not.
Brilliant, thank you. I'm going to add to this in a slightly different way, but I think it fits perfectly with what we've started with, because one of the things I do every day, summer, winter, rain or shine, is I go out for a daily walk. And yes, I've got waterproofs for the days it's really wet. Yes, I really do go out when it's pouring with rain. But I'm going out, I'm getting away from the computer. I don't take a mobile phone with me. I don't tend to make a mobile phone with me anyway. But I've got nothing that's going to disturb me, interrupt me. I can listen to the wind in the trees. I can listen to the birds singing. I can feel the sun or the rain. And it's about feeling. It's about being present. It's about getting away from the everything. And it's about enjoying all of that. And I think that fits in well with the laughter, with the gratitude, with the being in the present moment, with all of that. And it has an extra benefit. The sun is really good for us, in spite of what so many people keep telling us about the sun and it being bad for you. It gives us our vitamin D. And it gives us so much more than that. And if you like, laughter is sunshine. So get some sunshine and have the laughter and have with it. Go out and enjoy it. If I see a cat, or if I see a dog, or if I see a bird in a tree, it brings a smile. And so it's trusting and getting out and doing that. And I don't care if I get soaking wet. I really don't. It doesn't worry me. And so it's just go out. I don't think any of us here are going to say anything that we haven't found benefits us. So we are sharing from our experience. We're not sharing and saying, here, take my advice, we're not using it. We're sharing from our own experiences of things that work for us. So that's another thing to think about from another perspective. It's the get out, get the fresh air, the sunshine, and enjoy from there. So brilliant. I hope that's another little tip that people can take, and you will think about it. I make a point of taking the break from the computer. And even years ago when I worked in an office, I did exactly the same. I would go out, lunch breaks. I'd always get away from the computer and get out of the office. So I hope, folks, you can do it. Everybody can do it. It's our choice as whether we do or not.
I think it's relevant as well in terms of what we watch on TV and things like that. Our state of wellness is very much determined by what we're digesting and ingesting from social media. So, if every day we're watching a TV screen which is filling us with fear and we're having to absorb that, digest that, assimilate that, we in a sense, we become prisoners of that. And so not only switching off the computer, but maybe switching off the TV and choosing not to listen to the news and not having to digest that kind of material every day. People often say to me, what, you don't watch the news? And I go, I haven't watched it for 10 years. I have no idea what's going on in the world. And they say, don't you feel like you're missing out on something? And I go, what? Just all of that horror and terror? Why would I?
To me, it's called a negativity diet, and I've been on it as well. And it's brilliant. It's
Yeah.
brilliant. Okay, Joanne, should we come back to you?
Back to me? Yeah? Okay. Well, first of all, I would like to just add one little thing I'd like to follow up with what you were saying, because I do talk about that in my book and on my website about the amazing power of getting out in the woods, in the nature, somehow, some way to walk and just enjoy all the beauty and the sound and just be with things that we can't be with when we're sitting in our house or in front of the computer. And I have one quote I'd like to, and again, the quote is in my book and on my website. It's from John Muir. He lived from 1938 to 1914. I have no idea if he's known outside the United States. He's fairly well known inside the United States because he was a naturalist, writer, conservationist, and founder of the Sierra Club. We have a number of our western national parks because of him. And one of the things he said that I just love is that he said, I only went out for a walk, and I finally concluded to stay out till sundown, for going out, I found, was really going in with him. And I just love that. It's, going for a walk in nature, in a natural area, in a park. I do my best. Since I live so close to Houston, it's hard sometimes to get away from the noise. And I work hard to get away from all the noise. And it's just amazing how hard it can be to get into total quietness without even a plane going over or a car sound, 5 miles away or whatever, But I like to do that as often as I can because it is very powerful and very healing to our bodies. Another thing about gratitude that I want to say is that practicing gratitude is so simple that we can sometimes just sort of discount its power and forget it. It's not the kind of thing that just instantly heals something going on in our bodies, and we tend to discount it. But studies show that counting our blessings or being grateful, expressing gratitude, improves psychological, emotional, and physical well-being. People who practice gratitude are an amazing 25% happier than those who do not practice gratitude. Imagine the impact that can have on your life, on healing your body in so many ways, and also just impact so many people around you. If you're happier, that affects other people. Neuroscience is showing that habitual thoughts actually reshape our brains. When you focus daily on what you are grateful for, your mind turns away from the negative, the angry, blaming, judgmental thoughts that are so easy to come into it, and toward seeing ever more and more and more to be grateful for. I'm sure we all are familiar with the statement, you get more of what you focus on. You get more of what you focus on. Well, focus on what you're grateful for. It's so simple to do. Focus on what you're grateful for, and you get more to be grateful for. That's the way it works. I don't know why or how, but it works that way. Focus on what you're grateful for and enjoy it all. It just keeps coming, more and more and more to be grateful for. Have fun with it. That's it.
Absolutely. The law of attraction. What you focus on, you get. Brilliant. Brilliant. Patricia.
Yeah, that's what Joanne's saying is so true, and she kind of touched on something there that I come across a lot with clients and whatnot, and that is this inner dialogue that goes down. We seem to have formed the habits of putting ourselves down, judging and criticizing ourselves, and it's so easy just to to talk about reframing that and saying, you know, becoming positive. But it's got to be more than that. It's really got to be about choosing, you know, it comes back to the mindfulness with Richard as well. It's about choosing healthy thoughts and being mindful of how you speak to yourself. To speak to yourself as if you were your own best friend. You know, if somebody I knew was having a problem or whatever, you really try to step in and help them help themselves by showing them options, or, you know, exploring things with them, encouraging them as far as possible. And for me, I mean, I started all this stuff, heaven knows how long ago, with Louise Hay's work, and all the positive affirmations, the I am statements, and then Wayne Dyer brought out I am statements, all of that. So there we have it, the two most important words that one can say to oneself, I am. And then what you follow that with is, as Joanne rightly says, it reprograms. If you think of yourself like a computer, then you are feeding yourself with very wonderful new programs. I am open to receiving all the health and wealth and happiness that I am focusing on. So for me, I mean, everything we're talking about is right up my street today. You know, it's all beautifully, and of course it all blends in, and it's all easy, and yet we just need to bring it into our conscious awareness. Isn't it about awareness and how we speak to ourselves? We listen to our bodies, and we listen and amend the mental dialogue. So that's really, I think, the next bit I would like to introduce, because of course following on from that, we surely need to think about meditation. And even if we only take 10 minutes every day to go within and talk to ourselves in that healthy, positive way, then that will eventually reprogram this wonderful subconscious of ours and make that so on the outside experience. I mean, there's so much to say here, Sarah. It's heaven knows we've all written books about it, so we could go on for hours. How long have you got?
Another 23 minutes. Oh, brilliant! Thank you very much indeed, Richard.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, we're all on the same page, as you said, Patricia. I think I'd like to just share an exercise actually, which ties some of this together. It's a mindful exercise, but it's something that you can do on a piece of paper really simply. With a lot of the clients that I have, I just get them to draw a very large circle on a piece of paper, and you can do this really easily at home. In the center of that circle, you write down all the things that you're really grateful for, or all the things that you would like more of in your life. And really go to town on that. You know, just write everything that you'd really like more of or are really grateful for in your life. And then around the outside of the circle, write down all the things that you're not happy with in your life and you don't want in your life. Once it's done, you have to be really honest with yourself. And you sit there and you look at that piece of paper and you say, how much time am I devoting to the things inside the circle? And how much time am I devoting to the things outside of that circle? And invariably with the clients that I see, particularly the ones that are coming with anxiety and depression and problems, you'll find that generally speaking, they're devoting up to 90% of their time and energy to the things outside of that circle, which goes back to what Joe was talking about. So if you can just bring that awareness to that person and say, well, what would it be like, you know, if you devoted time to the things inside the circle? Look at how much of the negativity that you're manifesting by focusing on what's outside the circle. Is it any wonder what's in that circle isn't in your life right now? It's quite a big shift of awareness for the person. So it's an exercise I do all the time. So I've just given away my trade secret, but it's not that complicated. And I really recommend doing that. And then from that, you can start to develop some affirmations and some things that you can install as a sort of inner dialogue to affirm positively day to day, where you're at and where you would like to be going, as opposed to where you've been and where you don't wish to be going. I think someone once said, if you do what you always did, you will always get what you always got, or something like that. Yeah. So yeah, that's me.
No, that's brilliant, and I think we could go on to that topic for a long time in lots of different ways. But I'm going to take this to a tip for people from a health perspective. It's something I do every day. I take a lemon, squeeze it, and I stick that lemon juice into about a pint of water. We were talking about the pre-metric and all the rest of it before we started, and I'm sorry folks, I am still pints and ounces and all the rest of it, and a pint I believe is just over half a litre, I think, but I'm not into that side of things. But into about a pint of water, so it's about 2 glasses of water with the lemon juice in a day. It helps create a more alkaline environment in your body, which has 2 effects that I'm aware of. One, cancer doesn't like an alkaline environment, so that's always very good. And 2, do you know what? My skin feels so much better for doing this on a daily basis, and I've been doing it for quite a long time now, and it's amazing the difference it has to my skin. So not only am I giving the internal of my body benefit, I'm giving the external of my body benefit as well. So there's another little tip for you. Granted, folks, I know it doesn't take particularly brilliant. Please do not add sugar to it. In fact, if you can get sugar out of your diet, which is another tip I would really give you, try and get refined sugar out of your diet. Eating fruit and vegetables isn't a problem. It's the refined sugars that are a problem. And yes, I am doing my best to do that as well. My biggest issue is chocolate, and I've admitted that before. I'm a chocoholic, but I do try to keep all refined sugar out of my diet because, again, cancer thrives on that. So an alkaline environment and no sugar is a really good start against cancer. So there's another little tip for you. I'm going to come straight back to Richard because I like to mix things about a bit. So, Richard, what's your next point?
Well, I'm not a nutritionist, so I wouldn't give advice on what you eat and digest in your lives. I think that basically wellness is, it develops as your awareness develops in life. So, whereas maybe 20 years ago I thought that going out and drinking all night in a pub and doing all that sort of behavior was a good idea, and I didn't have any after effects of it. Obviously, as your consciousness develops, as your awareness develops, then you start making life choices that reflect, in a sense, that awareness. So really, it's just about you being really mindful. We come back to that whole thing again, being mindful of what presently is. As you develop your awareness, you develop your sensitivities to both foods, environment, friends, all kinds of toxicities. So you'll find that you don't want to read that newspaper every day. You don't want to hang out with those people that you used to hang out with every day. And you want a congruency between the development on the inner level with the outer world. And so, it's really about finding that congruency within yourself and in your environment. And if you find yourself getting, caught up in dramas and conflicts in the external world, use that as an indication of what maybe needs to change in your life and what you need to move away from towards being more aligned with your true self, your genuine self. And I think that's ultimately what this is about. The more aligned we are with our authentic self, the more well we feel within ourselves. And I think we're generally brought up to feel guilty about making choices that appear selfish in the outside world because we're doing what's right for us. But actually, what's right for me, what's truly right for me, I find is generally right for everyone around me as well. If it's authentically truly right for me, it'll be right for everyone else. So, having the courage to really live your path, live your truth, go your way, and allow others to do the same, and let go of that sort of codependent type relationships and sort of just coexist with everyone, find some peace. I could go on for hours.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Easy on that one. And basically, Sherry has written and said a big thank you. I'm not going to read the whole sentence, but she's gone into the gratitude, which is for the programme and for all of us, so that's brilliant. Thank you very much indeed, Sherry. Patricia, let's come back to you.
Yeah, the good stuff about putting yourself first. I work very much with feminine energy, helping women to self-empower. And I think one of the unfortunate things is that women have been very well programmed for many thousands of years now to not put themselves first. In fact, to come in with this sort of sacrificial pact and put everybody else, family, relationships, everybody else first. And then I've got this wonderful Glaswegian expression, is they go down the pan. And, you know, sacrificing their energy. And there's that wonderful story when the air hostess is on the aircraft and she says, you know, when the oxygen masks come down, put yours on first, then give it to the baby or the child, help them. You have to do it for yourself first. Richard is saying, you know, absolutely truth here. We really need to learn how to love ourselves, accept ourselves exactly as we are, and to build ourselves up, to take responsibility for our own health, to unplug from dependency on other people to make us happy or build us up. I mean, it seems to be my work. That is what I work with. I call it the divine feminine, the divine aspect being the symbology, if you like, of the spiritual aspect of that. So I work with very high vibrations there. And you know, it's not just about women. Men need to embrace that aspect too. I really feel that men have been brought up not to show that softer side, the feminine side, the compassionate, forgiving. Hence, we've got masses of soldiers out there who cannot cope with war. They come back, they've got PTSD, all these different things, because basically human beings were not designed to kill anything, certainly not other human beings. And so they're going against their innate grain, but it's kind of been taught out of them, if you like. So I really do feel that the bigger picture there for the masculine energy is to reclaim that feminine, bring it back in. It's okay to be soft. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be compassionate and forgiving, and let, you know, very much in Britain we've got the stiff upper lip, as you know, Sarah, and you know, you mustn't grin and bear everything. Well, actually, no, you don't have to. You can just be and express your emotions. So, you know, and then it's about bringing those two energies into balance within the masculine and the feminine. We all have both, and making a lovely marriage within yourself of that. I believe that then releases amazing potential in the brain. If you're really using your brain in balance, you can bring forward all of your creativity from the feminine side and have the means to ground it and manifest it with the masculine. So don't want to go into that too much. It might sound a bit complicated, but you know, it's just about honouring yourself, being in the present moment and acknowledging all these different fascinating aspects. You are a work of art. You are something extraordinary. This healing machine, I mean, if I cut myself right now, in a couple of days it will be healed. It's just going to do all these miracles all the time. It's miraculous. It's wonderful. And behind everything I do comes love. Love is what we must permeate every cell in our bodies with. Then no other diseases or anything can enter in when we are working with and through love. So there you go. I'm putting love into this entire program, Sarah.
Love and laughter. Joanne.
Thank you. What I want to start with that'll lead into some other things is a quote from mine and your good friend David McLeod, who publishes a beautiful and powerful I am statement every single day, has been doing it for years. I don't know how he keeps coming up with these awesome statements, but he does, and they're in his website, www.magicofim.com, and you can sign up and get one sent to your email. But one that I have in my website that I especially love is this one. I am blessed with endless gratitude, which fuels my ability to release the charge in my old wounds and flow into forgiveness. And that, I believe, is a very powerful key to total health and well-being, gratitude and forgiveness. And in my book, I teach the practice of gratitude strongly, other things also, but very strongly, because gratitude, the daily practice of gratitude helps you flow into forgiveness, whatever you need to forgive, whatever. And I'd like to just tell a little story on myself. There's no medical evidence for this, but I think it's pretty strong evidence. My mother and her mother both were very, very strong victims. They didn't really realize it, didn't know it, but they lived their lives as victims, and they taught me to do the same thing. And for many, many, many years I did, until I really studied forgiveness deeply and got into teaching it and writing my book, and just cleaned all my old wounds out of my body. Now, here's what's interesting. Both my mother and her mother died before 65 of cancer. They didn't make it to 65. In 3 weeks, I'll be 73. Now, if I had followed in their path, and if I had listened to all the doctors who said, if it's in your family, you're going to get cancer, you need to watch it and check on all this and that and the other and have this done and whatever, I probably would either be dead by now or I would be dealing with cancer. And I do not have a touch of it. And I firmly believe it's because I let go of all the victim stuff and all the emotional toxins and all the anger and the rage and the pain that I went through for so many years. And I just think that it makes such a difference to forgive. And there's so many things that help us forgive. There's no way to go. That's a whole another thing we could. In fact, I did do a show with Sarah about that. Yeah. It's not what I'm wanting to go into today. I just want to touch on it because it is important in the process of healing ourselves and of being well, is that we do forgive, not only express gratitude, but forgive and release the old wounds and the current ones and be free to just be with everything and everyone and be grateful for everything and everyone who has ever been in our lives, who is in our lives now, and who will be in our lives in the future. Be grateful for it all and be free to love it all. And that is a very powerful health, whatever you want to call it, health way of being, healthy way of being. That's it.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Joanne. And yeah, right, David's been on the program about and talked about the magic of I am as well. So all three of my guests this evening have been on the program before, so do check out on our replay pages for their programs. It really is worth watching them.
Yes.
It really is. Please do. We're coming close to the end, and I know, Patricia, you said you've got to be away promptly. So it's really just one final little something from each of you before we close. So, as I said, if we come to you first, Patricia, and if you need to leave us before the end, then please do, and we'll understand why. But we'll come to you first.
Okay, thanks for that, Sarah. And if I do need to dive off, just to thank you very much for hosting this tonight. Really appreciate it. I think what I would like to share is just simply to take time out for you, every day. Taking me time is very important, and getting away from the family's demands, all that type of thing, finding your own quiet place, and if you can, just to sit, just to close your eyes. And it doesn't need to be a big long meditation or a visualization. It really just needs to be that closing of the eyes and allowing your awareness to sink down into your body and taking all that awareness onto your inner landscape, because you know that it's such a miraculous place. It is where it's all happening. And just draw all your awareness in, take your awareness to your breath and allow your breath to relax your entire body. And honestly, after 4 or 5 minutes, if I don't do this every day, and I do it quite often every day, and I meditate for at least 40 minutes every day as well, but I don't know how I could do what I do if I didn't do that, take that time for me. It seems to give me more time to achieve the other things I need to do. So I really recommend that to you. You know, even if you were sitting on the loo, to get back to some laughter, you could just close your eyes for a few minutes and just allow your body to relax and breathe and let your eyes relax. And, you know, to come back to Joanne talking about gratitude, how about just thanking your beautiful body for all it does every day in every way, those eyes that see, the feet that walk, the voice that talks, the heart that beats. How beautiful is that? Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then open your eyes. You're going to feel refreshed and ready to carry on and do whatever you need to do. Be a blessing to everybody.
Brilliant. Thank you so much indeed, Patricia. Very much, and thank you for joining us today. And I've no doubt I'll see you next week on air, that is. Richard, let's come to you.
Thanks, Patricia. Nice to meet you online as well.
And you.
I'm very relaxed now, by the way, after that. Yeah, I would, just as a sort of a parting gift, I would say that try and reduce the drama in your life. One of the things that I often will say to clients or even my children when they've got themselves caught up in all the dramas of their day-to-day existence is to remind themselves where they are. And the way that I teach them to do this is to use the zoom out method, which comes from my photography days. So just zooming out from the detail of the present situation and all the conflict, and just zoom back further and further and further and further until you see the whole planet in its entirety, and then zoom back further and further and further, and just keep going until you realize how your particular story and your particular drama in your life at this moment is actually so insignificant in some respects compared to the vastness of it all. And then remind yourself that you are part of that universe. You are part of the unfolding journey and story of that universe. And then bring yourself back into your body with the awareness and knowledge that you are interconnected with everything out there. It's all part of you. And your life has meaning and purpose, and it's unfolding in the most perfect way for you. But just get out of the drama of your mind as much as you possibly can. So that would be my parting gift.
Yeah, no, brilliant and so important. Yes, it's so important. And Joanne, let's come back to you.
Thank you. I'm going to close out with 2 quotes that I love, that are very, very beautiful and very powerful. Each quote is in my book, and each quote is on my website. The first is one of my favorite quotes, and completely. It's from Desmond Tutu, Archbishop Emeritus, and Nobel Prize laureate. He says, "We must learn to see with the eyes of God. That is, to see with the eyes of the heart and not just the eyes of the head. The eyes of the heart are not concerned with appearances, but with the essences. And as we cultivate these eyes, we are able to learn from our suffering and to see the world with more loving, forgiving, humble, generous eyes. It's one of my favorite quotes. And then there's another one, and that's from Daniel T. Peralta, and he's talking about gratitude. So I'll finish out with this. Even in our darkest hours, we can cultivate an attitude of gratitude. When we are genuinely appreciative for all that life has to offer, we see the light in ourselves and in everyone else. We see everyone and everything as a potential blessing. And to me, that's a great way to live. That's it.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you so much indeed. Thank you to all of you. It's been an absolute pleasure. And whoa, what have I done? I hope that you, I think you can still see me. I'm just not sure what I've hit here. I apologize, folks. Technology and me. Thank you to my guests, to all of you. It really has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you to those who's been watching us live. Cherry, for all your comments. It's been wonderful. Thank you very much indeed for being here and being so engaged with it all. Please, folks, the bios of my guests are all on the About Us page of the Gift of Healing TV website at the moment. Tomorrow morning I will make sure their website addresses are all under the video that goes up on YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube and it's after tomorrow morning, sort of check out the websites. Do go and check out on all our guests. Please go to the Gift of Healing TV website. Patricia's got a program Tuesday next week. Next week I am starting a 7-week series, Monday Meditations. So come and join me for meditations once a week for the next 7 weeks. And then just as soon as I've got other guests and programs sorted, they'll go up on the website as well. You'll also find, because this is all about hints and tips, there are some summits, etc., that I've got information up on the websites about that are health related. Please go and find those. I'm not going to mention any here because you could be watching this in quite a couple of weeks, months' time when it's not relevant for those anymore. But please do think about going and looking at the website and seeing what's available. This is the whole idea of Gift of Healing TV and what we share. It's what is out there helping to make things available to you. So please go and have a look and check it out, see whether there's anything that relates to you. Don't forget to check our guests' previous programs. They're all on the website as well. It's been a real pleasure to be with you here this evening. Have a wonderful time. We'll be back next week. And thank you again to all my guests.
Thank you.
Thank
you. It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, folks. You take care.
Thank you.
Bye.